Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. You already know it's your boy George Reister here per the usual. Thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate your time, appreciate your energy. Please, most importantly, make sure you swipe up, share the feed, like the feed, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. We have honest conversations where we're not afraid. Independent thought is king. Not Kanye independent thought, but independent thought is king. And we analyze things for what they are, not for what anybody tries to make us think that they are or that they're supposed to be. So what we got up on track for you guys today is Kanye West. He went to TMZ and he said that slavery was a choice. He admitted he had liposuction and was addicted to opioids. We're going to break that down. And just the question of, was slavery a choice? Van Lathan, how he responded to Kanye. And also, number two, is it okay? The Boy Scouts of America are changing their name to Scouts BSA, and they're going to be inclusive to girls. I want to know how you guys feel about that. Eric Reid, former 49er, friend of Colin Kaepernick, has filed a collusion lawsuit against the NFL as well. Hired the same lawyer as Kaepernick. Last thing up, the Toronto Raptors are absolutely terrified of LeBron James. I've never seen a person, a team, an entire organization as afraid of one person as the Toronto Raptors are of LeBron James. Guys, don't forget to swipe up, share the feed, like the feed, continue the conversation. We're going to start with your boy Kanye West. We're going to start with your boy Kanye West because this is out of his damn mind. He's out of his damn mind. I knew this was coming. I knew at some point in time, Kanye was going to sit down for an interview. So he sat down for 2 hours with Charlemagne. Then he showed up at TMZ. And I'm going to tell you, here's one thing I know in life. Here's one thing I've realized about Kanye West is this, is that at no point in time does Kanye ever finish a thought. Does he ever like have it like bullet pointed out, essay fashion, essay form? Never has that. So if you were expecting, Kanye's isolated tweets or even the song Ye versus the People to actually have a whole lot behind it, nope. You were mistaken, my friend, because it's not happening. And the statement that he made that caused a lot of controversy was where he said that slavery was a choice. And I'm sitting here like, I know this Negro did not just say slavery was a choice. But then I was reminded of something that happened a few weeks ago. There is a man that I know. He's a famous man. And we were talking about slavery. I'm not going to reveal his name because I don't want him to suffer the backlash that Kanye West is receiving right now. This man had the nerve, the audacity, and just the ignorance of the situation, because he's a young guy too, saying that, yeah, oh man, if I were young, there's no way I would have been a slave. There's no way they could have enslaved me. I'm not going for that. Real nigga, real. I ain't going for that. And I was sitting there like I was absolutely appalled. I was absolutely appalled because I was like, do you not know how slavery worked, my friend? Like, do you not know how slavery worked? So people in that, black people from Africa were taken from their homes by people with guns. They didn't have guns in Africa. They were taken by people with guns away from where they lived. They were shipped overseas in a place that they didn't belong, chained to each other, language they don't speak. They're trying to figure out how to escape. And Kanye is talking about that was a choice. Do you know that slaves wanted to be free? They tried to rebel, didn't know where to go, didn't speak the language, didn't have as advanced weapons. And the people who enslaved them had the law on their side. Slavery was a choice. I mean, this is the dumbest shit ever. And that's where Kanye lives. And it is. And then wants to blame it on independent thought. Because here at the Unafraid Show, I encourage independent thought. It is demanded. It is demanded that you save your tears and that sometimes you got to grow a pair because we need to have honest conversations. And I actually applauded Kanye West about Ye versus the People because I said that while I don't agree with him, the fact that he's bringing up this conversation is cool because you have to be able to have these conversations out of love, empathy, even if you don't agree with them, because there are a lot of people who are in the closet who think like Kanye. There are. Same people, just like I said, the dude told me that he thought slavery was a choice too. Oh man, there's no way they could have enslaved me. I would have been rebelling. No, you would have been dead, homeboy. You'd have been dead, just like the others. Or you would have been a hero like Harriet Tubman. Come on. I mean, like there's no in between. And then you had Van Lathan speak out about him. Oh, I don't think you're thinking, Kanye. And people were saying, oh, Kanye's off his meds. Yeah, because he probably is. I mean, just a prime example of it. He admitted he had liposuction and was addicted to opioids. He had liposuction because he thought that people were going to call him fat. I mean, come on, man. You got to be more secure in your manhood than that to get on to get on your soapbox preaching to us about independent thought. You got to be comfortable with yourself before you can have independent thought. Got to be comfortable with yourself, Kanye. And that's why it's so troubling to people, and it creates such a conflict when you like Kanye West's music. But then at the same time, you're trying to reconcile, I like Kanye West's music, but he says this. You know, it's like if you were a Ted Nugent fan 30 years ago, and then you listen to the racist, ignorant stuff he says, and then you realize that he's the white version of R. Kelly, that you're like, in terms of how he messing with underage girls and all of that. That's what I'm talking about with Ted Nugent. So you sit there and you're like, these two dudes are kind of the same. And then you're trying to reconcile, I like their music, but I don't like what they stand for or what the hell that it is they're talking about. And how it affects so many in a community. How it affects so many people. I mean, just look at even the Bill Cosby case. OJ polarized people. Even you know somebody's wrong, it still hurts your feelings. It still hurts your feelings. Oh, but it's independent thought. You cannot, and I do not agree. I do not agree. I know some of you guys want Kanye to shut up and all this stuff. No, you cannot silence Kanye. It is wrong to silence Kanye. Because, number one, people think like Kanye. So it is important to educate these people and make sure that they understand what is completely wrong with what they're thinking. And also, you have to be able to educate these people and understand where they're coming from. And if you don't, you're going to fall flat on your face because they're going to retreat to their corner and they're going to be like, oh, yeah. But here's one thing, the next thing I want to say about independent thought. Because I'm an independent thought guy, demanded here on Unafraid Show, is while there is independent thought does not equal every thought. Every thought that you have or any idea that you have doesn't make it a good one. And that's kind of where Kanye lives, which is, oh, everything's a good thought because I thought it. No, that doesn't make it free and independent. There are certain things that have to fall within the constraints of life and in the world. Some things that you cannot deny. You can't deny gravity. You're free to alter it. You can change it. You can create places where there's not gravity. But as soon as you get back to the real world, gravity still exists. Like you cannot cancel it. You cannot cancel karma. You can live by your own rules. I mean, it's just like people who say, man, I do what I want to do. I'm my own master. I'm my own God. I do whatever the hell I want to do. Okay, yeah, you can. Yeah, you do. But there are still consequences to it. There are still consequences to your actions. There are still repercussions that you cannot deny. Same thing with slavery. Same thing. There's no two ways around it. Another thing, secrets. What's done in the dark, it comes to the light. Same thing. Also, gender, just like gender. People don't want to admit it. People don't want to be honest about it. Gender, not a whole lot of things you can do to change that. If you were born as a man, then you can live your life however it is that you want to out in the world. You're free. I'm going to love you for it. These are your choices, or who you are, how you're born, however that you feel, right? But at the same time, if a man who, whether he's taking hormones, living as a woman, whatever, because that's how he feels, she feels, however you want to say it. If I have a heart attack and a natural born woman has a heart attack, they're going to treat you differently for different symptoms and all that stuff at the hospital. My prostate needs to get checked. A woman needs to get checked for breast cancer. Just because there are certain things that you cannot change no matter what. That doesn't mean that you're not free to alter them or to look at them a different way. But there are certain things, free thought, independent thought, it's just certain things that you cannot change. Certain things that are different. That don't apply in the situation. So that's where I am with Kanye. And with his saying that, that we can't allow ourselves to be enslaved for a long time. Yes. It's just the truth. Yeah. So, somebody said, I agree with you, but I think Kanye has the same thought or sees himself as Killmonger in Black Panther. Man, I don't know what Kanye's seeing himself as, but he's not seeing himself correctly right now. He's right in the fact that we as Black people and people in general, that you cannot be handcuffed by the way things always are. You can't be handcuffed by that. But you also have to be cognizant of how things in the past affect things in the future. Think about it. Majority of us here now, talking under the sound of my voice, believe in mental health, the necessity for it, and all that. So come on, man. He's got to be willing to admit that and your mental health and going to go seek therapy and all of that. One of the tenets is that the things that happened to you in the past affect your future. That's just the truth. They do. You can't deny that they do, because everything in the world says they do. And hurt people hurt people. These are just facts. Next thing we got up, though, is the Boy Scouts of America. The Boy Scouts of America are changing to the Scouts BSA. And do you know what? They're now inclusive to girls. And I want to know how you guys feel about that. How do you guys feel about the Boy Scouts now taking girls? Because initially, when I first heard about this, my initial thought was, okay, is this I would say my first thought about it, and what you initially heard about it was, this is a movement for like girl power, and that this is something that is going to affect how boys do things, how girls do things, and is this a issue of transgender kids and all that. Here is what I learned from picking up a simple book, reading an article, and all this. The Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, including girls, has nothing to do with equality. It has nothing to do with anything that the social justice. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with money. That is the only reason that this is being done. Only reason. The Boy Scouts have decreased enrollment. Think about this. The reason why I couldn't join the Boy Scouts is because my parents wouldn't let me, because there were so many sexual assault allegations and all that. More than 1,200 suspected molesters in the Boy Scouts from the 1960s through 1985. Yep. Over 1,200 suspected ones. And then the organization spent $70 million on insurance in 2016. excluding premiums. That's up 40 million from 2015. That's why they're including girls. This has nothing to do with inclusion of people. This has nothing to do with any of that. This has to do with money. And Julie, I'm excited that your daughter can't wait to join the ranks of Eagle Scout, because here is my problem with where the Girl Scouts of America and the Boy Scouts of America have lived, is that they haven't been progressive enough with the girls, I think. Because there are girls who like to hunt, fish, camp, do all these things that the boys do. But then at the same time, I'm conflicted with the fact that boys and men and girls and women should have places where they can congregate together and do things and learn some of the things that you need to do as a man, that you need to do as a woman, that only a woman can teach you in that way, or a man can teach you in that way. There's bonding that needs to go on. It's just like men, like husbands need to talk to other husbands about husband things, not talk to other wives about it all the time, because there's certain things that men deal with as husbands that women deal with as wives. So this is why it's very like a touchy situation, because so someone said girls are in the armed forces now. The armed forces are not the Eagle Scouts. They're not the Boy Scouts or any of that. So while I am compassionate to girls being hunting, fishing, camping, doing all the stuff that the Eagle Scouts do, which is very important, which is very empowering for girls, and there's girls who want to live in that lane, and I'm cool with that. But I'm also saying, shouldn't boys and men and girls and women have a place where they can retreat to themselves and do men and women things? Not the stereotypical things, but regardless of whether you're gay, straight, whatever it is, there are certain things that you have to deal with as a man that you don't have to deal with as a woman, and vice versa. So, why is it okay not to have a space for that? Yep, I would agree with you there, Carol. But this reason is about money, because it was made to out in the public by some people that this is a social justice gone too far. So social justice gone too far. They're turning the Boy Scouts into Girl Scout and letting girls in, and this is why we need to keep our men. No, this is not what this is about. Money. The Boy Scouts want money. And now you have the Boy Scouts fighting with the Girl Scouts instead of just doing what they should do all along and create different programs for different people who have different interests. That's how you keep the organizations alive. They're spending more on insurance than they're probably spending on anything else to combat, they paid $42 million this year in lawsuits against sexual allegations. Come on, man. Julie said, you bet it's about money. The girls do way better with cookies than the boys do with overpriced popcorn. Hell yeah, everybody loves Girl Scout cookies. I got boxes in my freezer right now. Agree with it. 100% agree with that. And the girls, we have to be okay with that, understanding that gender norms, whatever, that roles in families don't look the same as they used to. They're stay-at-home dads, they're stay-at-home moms. Both parents work in some families. You have to understand that there is a different dynamic in families now. People have blended families, all of that. You have to find a way to fit it in. Yeah, I would agree that the kids are way more progressive than adults, and you have to be willing to understand that there are certain people who are interested in doing things Eagle Scouts do, and there are certain people who are interested in doing other things. There are creative types, and there are hunting and fishing types. Then there are sports types and people all in the middle. So if you align your organization that way, everybody fits in. Because think about this. The Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are trying to use the same model that country clubs use. Trying to use the same model. Country clubs, they want you to pay these annual membership dues. stay in this one box. Yeah, you're always over here in this box. You don't go over here in this box. Can't play at this course. Can't play at this course. And those people are getting old and dying now. So you have to be willing to change with the times and do something different. And that's where the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are. This is a money situation. This is not social justice. This is not anybody like, this is not about transgender. This is not about anything like that. This is about money. That's what the Boy Scouts are doing right now. The last thing I got up today is Colin Kaepernick. Well, no, not even the last thing. Geez, we just got Toronto Raptors too. Is Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid. Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid. They both now have filed They filed lawsuits against the NFL for collusion. Eric Reid, who played for the 49ers, also, and he kneeled. So now he doesn't have a job as well. So everybody knows, if they really are honest with themselves, Kaepernick was a good enough quarterback to continuously be getting jobs and opportunities in the NFL, regardless of whether you thought it was a starter, whatever. Talent-wise, yes. Now you got Eric Reid, one of the best safeties in free agency. Hasn't even gotten an offer, not even a minimum contract offer, and they sign guys off the street. You know something's up with that. You know something is up with it. So you don't have to admit it. You don't have to like it. I'm sorry, you don't have to like it, but you do have to admit it, because the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. And you have to be willing to say, you know what, this is messed up and this is what it is. So we don't have to go all into it. However, you have to admit it, though. You do have to admit it, that Eric Reid is being colluded against by the NFL owners, same way as Colin Kaepernick is. And I hope they win their lawsuit. I do hope they win their lawsuit. Oh, but George, they're bad for business. What was Josh Allen bad for business? Tweeting nigga all over the place? Nope, because they think they can help them win. That's the thing. Come on, man. Sometimes your complexion is your protection, and you just have to admit it. The last thing up that I got up today is the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors, because this goes into mentality. This goes into all of this. I have never in my life seen a team that is more afraid of one person than the Toronto Raptors are of LeBron James. Toronto Raptors, they pump fake people every single year like they're going to be this great team, that something's different, that they have changed. They pump fake you. Oh, yeah, this is different. This is new. This is the new Toronto Raptors. This year's different. You'll see, George. I told you guys before. No way, no how, because you got a dude in Kyle Lowry who's not a superstar, who melts under pressure. And when LeBron is guarding him, I want you to do this. Next game, in game 2, watch how Lowry plays when LeBron is on him and when any other player on the court is on him. There's a look in his eyes that's like, let me get the ball out of my hands because I'm scared of this man. Because I'm terrified of this man. Like, you have to see it. And that makes the Toronto Raptors the least clutch team in the playoffs. By far. And it is a shame that you have another man who is this afraid of another man. Who is this afraid. I mean, I've never seen a player who is supposed to be as good as Kyle Lowry is, $100 million man. And when he gets in the playoffs, averages go down. He can't make shots. And then the look in his eyes when he had the meltdown yesterday was just terrible. It was just awful. When he called timeout with 2.1 seconds left in the quarter, with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Raptors only had 2 timeouts in a close game. This dude calls timeout. And then you had him before that. Then after that gets a 5-second violation. Man, this dude is absolutely terrified, and I'm not even, and it's a damn shame. And it is a damn shame. You guys, please make sure that you like the Unafraid Show, that you share the Unafraid Show, that you tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. And also, if you got a question, a comment, email unafraidshow@gmail.com. We bring the heat, we bring the action. Place where you can have honest, open, honest conversation. No sensitivity allowed because you can save your tears. We're sensitive to how you feel, but we're not getting ready to sit up there and cry about it. And also, sometimes you just got to grow up here. This is the Unafraid Show. George Reister. Thank you guys for joining me today. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. Thank you for sharing. Catch you guys later. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.